Coming at you live from Hollywood, California. I am Teflon Tommy Fugazi, the golf course hustler, the pimp from Beverly Hills. I'm here with my co-host. Some of you may know him as Mikey Gaga, Joey Bumbatse, and once as Miss Phyllis Levine. But that was years ago. It was at a party. He smoked at the Tibet and he had a quackalud. And next thing you know, he's in Fishnet singing show tunes. Coming on frame here is my glorious co-host extraordinaire...
The really fancy guy.
Mr.
Jordan Sherman in the house.
That's right. And we have an esteemed guest. Okay, everyone, put your hands together at home for Mr.
Maxie. Golf clap.
That's right. Golf clap.
Maxie in the house.
Less is more.
What's up, dude?
Saw, dude.
How you doing?
I'm good, dude. I'm good.
Hell yeah. So, first off, we're having you on the show today because you just released a new single.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Pleasure.
Hell yeah.
Thank you so
Very
much.
good. This is really the hardest radio show to get on too, for one of two reasons. We do it once a week, and we're not as big as other radio hosts, so it's not too many people know.
We're
that.
also pretty intimidating, so I think that's the other factor.
Yeah, especially you. Good God. That's why I'm on the other side of the table, man, because he's not within striking
you guys
distance.
Be separated. Separate them.
We do.
You know, we're very different, but I do like your New Balances, though. They're cool.
Yeah, these are fresh.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Fresh.
Well, you guys at home will never see him. I'm not putting my feet in the air.
So
I'm not taking the bait.
What's the single called?
Single's called Break You Off, produced by NVDN, and vocal production by yours truly, baby.
It's true.
Come on.
I thought I
true.
recognized that. I'm like, damn, this sounds like a little touch of Jordan Sherman on there.
You know, it's really fun. He's the first one to track on the new mic on the on the Neumann, and
Nice.
that shit was super fun. And this guy's hilarious when he's in the booth too. He's, you know, so animated and into it, which is dope because that's exactly what you want to come across when you're tracking. Is
Right.
the last thing you want is somebody who's I'ma break you off. You know, just like you got to get the groove in the body for it to come across.
What's my signature move? It's like the.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands.
A lot of Ginzo hands going on.
It's almost like you're fucking someone. If I had to,
Fucking the mic, baby.
Okay, so when I listened to the song, that was my critical analysis. I'm like, this is like thrusting music. I can't help, you know? Like certain songs, like Staying Alive, people can't help but groove to it. That I'm just like, I don't know what's coming over me. You know, like, where's the nearest woman? You're the white, Barry White.
Nice.
Right?
Love it.
Nice.
Love it.
you're the first, you're the last, my everything. I love that song. Barry's
great.
Love Barry White.
Barry's the shit. So,
Barry White.
how long you been in LA, dude?
Dude, 3 years.
Oh.
3 years.
Nice.
Okay, I was gonna say 2 or 3. That's a big difference.
Yeah, it's 1 year. I mean, I know mathematician, but that's 1 year. Don't act like you're not impressed.
Where'd you move from?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Holy shit, East Coast.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I know my geography. I'm big brain. What do you want? Yeah, I fucking love that town. By the way, remember the poem?
Yep.
I did a Boston poem. I don't have it on me, but it was nice. It was basically James Joyce,
Yeah.
or Robert Frost. We'll keep it like Massachusetts. But yeah, dude, fucking. So you moved out here 3 years ago, around the same time I moved out here.
Nice.
Okay, a little after when you moved out here.
Yep.
And it is congruent with my theory that nobody's from LA.
No.
This is a city with like 12 million people, or I don't know, 8 million people, something like that, and nobody's from here.
Yeah, pretty
Except
much.
the girl that I went out with last night.
Yeah.
Every now and then you meet some locals and you're like, what happened to you?
The conversation usually ends when they say, "I'm from LA." And
Yeah.
it flatlines. The conversation's over. It's like, "Oh, where are you from?" "I'm from Boston." "Yeah, it's this. "Where are you from?" "I'm from LA." Silence.
Gotcha. And just kind of like fade away.
Yeah, you
creep off
go
screen.
through the bar.
Yeah.
You're like, Kylie Jenner's like my hero. So, like, if I could just be her, look like her, and be that wealthy, I mean, I want to be a billionaire. Why can't I be a billionaire?
A billboard billionaire.
Yeah.
Billboards.
Yeah. That's what you need to do, man. Billboards. I got a guy. It's going to cost you like, I don't know, 200 grand a month. But it's good. You got a new single they say you got to promote, right?
Yeah, you gotta-
Just take out a loan, dude. You'll be fine. Pay it back.
So I'm actually stoked you're on because I've got questions
Nice.
that I've never been able to ask because we're usually either working or partying, which is how we met. Because this he's a good partier, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
But my question is,
Yes, sir.
what what's your first big influence? Like I hear a lot when I listen to your shit, but like what really made you start wanting to be the Maxi that you are now?
Definitely Sade.
Sade.
Hell yeah, man. Yo,
Biggest.
talk about some baby making music.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was maybe or maybe not listening to that when I was maybe not with that certain girl from last night. You know,
Who
what I'm
was
saying?
may or may not be from LA.
Smooth operator. She's brilliant though. Seriously,
Yeah.
all joking aside, I love Sade.
She's my favorite. Yeah, I think like my parents probably like when I was like in the womb were dancing and listening to that, and then all growing up that was like playing through the house. So yeah.
You're definitely conceived of Sade.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I probably
Sade,
was
baby.
too, or like "Kiss from a Rose" or something. Like that was the jam at the time. But
They're watching Batman Forever. Val Kilmer got everybody all excited, and then Kiss from a Rose comes on, and that's how. No, that's too late. I watched that movie. I wasn't conceived during that. That makes sense.
It's so
too,
bad.
too old for that.
Right.
That's dope. What's your favorite Sade song?
Let's see. Probably Sweetest Taboo or
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I love By Your Side.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
amazing
beautiful,
too.
beautiful song.
Also, like Never Good as the First Time is
Yep.
that's actually probably my favorite. Yeah.
Nice.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear it now. Like it's a laid back groove,
Yeah.
right? Where it's still super groove heavy, but it's got this ethereal kind of really chill aspect to it too, which
Sure.
is definitely how your music is.
Sure.
But you're also a dope guitarist, which
Oh,
you know
thank you, baby.
people on the track they hear the track, they might not know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know. I heard the track. I didn't know that. I'm that guy.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
which came first for you? Obviously, usually people who are good on instruments start on an instrument before they start singing.
Sure.
Is that
Yeah, I mean, I started doing actually piano lessons when I was super young, and I was like, "Mom, I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore." And then started like going to my aunt's house and always picking up the guitar and stuff. And yeah, then I got a guitar for super cheap, you know, kind of entry level, no name brand guitar for Christmas one year, and then yeah, that was the stat.
That's it. And then for me, when I got my first guitar, it was all about punk rock. That was
Nice.
everything. So
Nice.
I don't know. What were you trying to figure out?
I mean, back then I was like, 12. I was definitely learning like Blink-182 songs. Yeah, so similar.
Yep.
Brilliant.
And then kind of, my sister started showing me like music from the 70s, started learning Eagles songs, stuff like that. So, yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Because I've only seen you like do your thing on the lead once, and it was at the Everly, that Kimpton Hotel in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm like, oh shit, Maxie's got some licks, yo. Like,
Yeah.
And you got the Strat and the classic Fender amp. Like your tone's great, your
Thanks.
style's great, the playing's great. I'm a
Thanks.
fan. Is all I'm.
Thank you.
All I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I try and keep the tone, even for soloing, try and keep it somewhat clean or cleaner than like a absolute like blasting distortion.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I like to hear the
absolutely.
tone, the guitar. It makes soloing a little harder, because you can't hide behind the massive amounts of reverb and delay. But it's
In the gain and the
right.
Yeah, and everything else. Yeah, your technique has to be very, very pure.
Yeah.
And in line with that, I heard a quote last night from a buddy of mine that totally blew my mind. He's like, "You got to learn your scales before you can wear the leather pants." I was like, I've never heard that before. That's so
pretty
good.
great.
Like everyone's like, "Oh, you got to learn to crawl before you can run." Like, no. The scales and leather pants.
Scales.
Like that resonates with me. That's cool though. I was like talking about clean guitar tone, and like I fucking love good clean guitar tone.
Yeah.
I was listening to I was out last night, and the song "I Can't Tell You Why" by the Eagles came on, and that the tone for that solo it's so simple. It's just like a nice like pockety groove, low key tune. One of my favorite songs. But like that tone, and Joe Walsh, like forget about it. Another big fan of the show. Thank you for your contributions, Joe Walsh. But yeah, man, like oh my God, clean tone is the way to go. That's
Really
like
is.
so next level. But
It really is.
yeah.
the cleanest tone I've ever heard is Robert Cray. You know who that is?
No.
He's like I only know about him because Clapton, hoists his favorites up, and
Oh, cool.
Cray is one of them, and
Cool.
it's so clean that I'm like, you gotta, dude, where's your gain? Give me some gain.
Yeah.
Give me a little game.
Because he plays on the second position on the Strat, so it's just like cling, cling,
Yeah.
and it's like, but he's playing this super soulful, amazing blues, but it's
Right.
just like,
So clean. Yeah.
I'm like, but he has a signature sound,
Right, right.
which
Yeah.
is cool, but
Right.
it's a little too clean for my taste.
Yeah, I do like some Dirt McGirt, but
Little
yeah,
bit.
man, that's pretty awesome. So Do you still play piano at all on your tracks, or did you just no
yeah,
more?
I mean, some of like the synth lines, I wrote with Niv, and then he did most of the ones on this track. But even for a lot of the tracks coming up, like we have another song called "Stand for Nothing," where I wrote most of the keys parts. So yeah, I'm trying to
Nice.
stay fresh, but it's mostly like the writing process. I'm mostly kind of coming up with something on the guitar and then bringing that to the producer, and then we kind of go from there. So.
Very nice. Now, do you write with a band, or do you complete the songs and then bring it to some studio musicians?
A lot of the time it's like it really depends. Like this next single, "Forget You," which is coming out next month, which Jordan did vocal production, and we did all the vocal takes here. That one I basically had the whole layout of the song already and kind of brought it to Brent, and he was like, "Dude, this is dope. I'm gonna put kick here, snare here," and we kind of just ran with it. So a lot of the time it's like literally me sitting home alone, like on the couch, coming up with a song, and then
You smoking weed while you do that?
sometimes, yeah. I think honestly though, some of my best materials come out like sober. A lot of like the I think my stronger written songs have definitely been sober. I mean, same for live. Like when I play live, I usually have like one beer on stage, but yeah.
True.
And afterwards, that's a different story.
Now, I could never, like, we discuss this from time to time. I could never like perform on drugs, and it blows my mind
Right.
when that Woodstock video of Jimi Hendrix performing. They do a close up on his face. His pupils are the size of beach balls.
Yeah.
And he's like out of his mind on acid, but he's like everything is still totally in key, totally on time. Everything. And same with Carlos Santana, because when he went on Woodstock, they moved him up like 6 slots earlier. So he was supposed to be coming down off acid when he was going on stage, but he was coming up on acid. And he said the guitar was like playing a serpent. And he was all over the place, and he was just like trying to hang on for dear life, and it was amazing.
The idea of tripping balls and performing sounds amazing, but I did it not on acid, but I took way too many edibles before a gig at this place called Ham and Eggs downtown.
Nice.
It was before even Olympic was formed. We were still Jordan Sherman.
Yeah.
And it was me, Sean, and this guy Victor on the kit. And this place is tiny. It's a little dive, and it's so loud. And I'm just like so ripped. And I'm in my own little zone. For the singing, for all that, it sucks. But when it comes time to take a solo, fucking amazing.
Right.
Because you're just like everything. You put way more emphasis on the smallest of things, you know?
Well, what about that guy that pitched a perfect game on acid? Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Was that like the 70s or something?
No, you're totally right. Yes, that did happen. There was a guy, he wasn't supposed to get the start that day, so he dropped an acid tab. Was it like Doc Larson or something like that?
So that sounds familiar. Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, he pitched a perfect game high on acid.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get in the zone, you know, like it's a whole different level, you know? But you have to already be a total pro, you know?
Yeah, you got to be well versed in taking tabs of acid for sure.
Well, well versed on the acid, and then obviously a great pitcher too. But but the like for me, it's always kind of fun to experiment on stage because I perform 4 or 5 times a week. So like, if you keep doing that, you start to kind of shut down a little bit instead of continuing to hone in on certain things. It's easy to like space out, you know?
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
So add 1 extra shot, see what that does. Smoke some weed on your break in the parking lot, see what that does.
See what
do
happens.
a little rail, see what that does. You know, you never know. But speaking of which, I was sober for all of January.
Wow,
so,
dude.
But now it's February 1st.
February 1st. So where's that bottle of whiskey?
I got high last night, and I had 1 glass of wine. The moral of it for me is I'm better sober for sure. Like in every way.
Most people will find that out one way or another in their life.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So the goal is to not just be like, all right, time, it's back on.
Yeah, like make up for lost time.
Yeah, no. The goal is to like maybe take some hoots at the end of the night to listen to some mixes that I've been slaving over all day.
Sure.
And then have a whiskey if somebody offers to buy me something at a gig. Like that's my goal for my substance use at this point.
Sure.
And then the occasional acid trip and DMT.
Right. And then remember the ketamine. and then the heroin, right?
No,
and
no,
then
no,
the
no,
barbiturates.
none of those.
No,
No,
not
no.
anymore.
Keep
No.
the ketamine. Keep the ketamine.
Super basic. Weed,
I hear you perform really good when you're on a K-hole though.
definitely not.
Totally
I've,
coherent.
I've done ketamine. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, twice.
Oh my god.
You do a bouquet bump and then turn your delay all the way
Yeah.
on the guitar and play that thing, baby.
The
we've
first
gone in the
time-
gutter.
Started decay all the way up.
The first time I did K was because I might as well tell a story. I was supposed to play at a festival in Pennsylvania. My band backed out on me like a week or two before,
Oh, fuck.
and the guy who booked me was actually my roommate's dog walker.
As it always
Yeah.
is. Is there any other way you get booked?
Yeah, and then he came back from the mountain, as he calls it, and he's like, I brought you something back from the mountain. I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, it's a present. I really wish you could have been there, but this is for you. And it was just some ketamine. So it sat in my drawer for a while, and then I decided one day that it was
10
time.
minutes.
Yeah, like I waited at least 10 minutes. Now, decided it was time. Gave it a little schnortski.
Yep.
Saw what happened.
Did you crunch it up?
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, yeah. And then went to the K-hole, as it were.
Oh, you did too big of a bump there.
No, I didn't go to the K-hole. But I did one, and then I was feeling it out because I'm very tentative, especially nobody was there. So I'm like, let's be chill.
Yeah,
Did a little one. I'm like, oh, there's not this ones. And it felt like the tempo was totally different. Like
Right.
everything was either way slow or way fast. I'm like,
Right.
what is going on with this?
Slow and fast at
Yeah.
the same time.
And then it just feels like you're floating through. I don't know. It's like very definitely a fucking sedative.
It's like an out of body
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah.
honestly. It really is.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and that was one time. Then one other time was similar to that, and it was from the same stash. And that
Cool.
Would you say you're on ketamine right now in this interview?
definitely. I can't do anything without it. Actually, I'm completely dependent.
Riveting.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
back to our guest.
Yeah.
In case you're discussing degenerate drug use, you piece of shit. But anyway, so you got a record coming out, right?
Yeah.
So how many songs we talking? We talking EP? We talking full length? We talking
Uh,
triple album?
38
songs?
Succession of singles. So about,
That's the way to do
about
it.
Yeah.
And the plan is to do one a month for trying to do this whole year. Honestly, we'll
Yeah.
see if it
Oh,
happens.
nice.
But that's kind of the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it all gonna be baby making hits?
Most of them. Yeah. There's
Cool.
some funny ones in there. Jordan and I got one.
I know we got to finish that
we
one.
got to finish that. That
it was,
one's,
it was called "Baby Put Me Down."
yeah.
There's a theme
Similar
here.
to Break You
Yeah. Those lyrics are fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
We co-wrote that when you were fucking tripping out on acid.
That's right. I was on a micro.
God, I've never seen you high on anything.
No.
He's in his prime. We'll say that. He's
Oh my
definitely in
God.
his prime.
Jesus.
Well, we wrote this song. I'm like, let's write a song about a basic bitch. And it started off with seeing her walking down the street with her latte and all this stuff. And then you go to the restaurant and turns out she's a vegan and she can't eat anything there. And you're all pissed. So you take her to the beach hoping that it goes better. And finally you're on a blanket. And then that's when she says, baby, put me down.
Right.
Put it down on me.
Put it down on me.
Put it down on me, Tiffany.
And then
because
the
that's what basic
Yeah.
bitches are named. They're either Rachel or Tiffany. You have to be able to say their name like that. Sarah. Yeah.
And then the second verse is all about waking up the next day and she's completely moved in. And you're like, oh no, like what have I done?
Right.
And she's in the kitchen. She's reading People magazine, wearing your T-shirt, and pulling out all the moves, trying to show off her ass while you're cooking breakfast and all these things. And you're just like terrified the whole time.
Right. Complaining about the state of your cookware.
Stay away from my pans.
Yeah.
Stay away.
They may be dirty, but they're mine. Yeah. Just like you, dirty and mine. Tiffany.
So how
Show title, Tiffany.
Tiffany, yeah, spelt like that too.
Yeah. EH.
So how do you find the whole LA life? Like what is it like for you? Like tell us your
I mean,
experience.
I'm still here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, seriously though, like 3 years. Some people move here and just like, I guess they run out of money. I don't know how you could not like LA. Like the only bad thing about here is the traffic.
Yeah.
Right.
The people don't suck. Again, like we've said it on the podcast a zillion times, but like that is such a falsehood about living in LA is that
Totally.
everyone sucks and is vapid. Like, yes, there are sucky, shitty, vapid
Tiffany.
people everywhere. Yes, there's plenty of Tiffany's. But you know what I'll tell you about Tiffany? Tiffany is probably she's probably one of the hottest girls you've ever seen in your life. So it balances out, you know.
She's got like 4 million followers on Instagram. You're like, please just share me in your story one time.
Yeah, exactly. Give you a huge bump. But anyway, okay, back to your LA experience.
Yeah.
So when you first moved out here, did you run into any hardships? Did you run into any like crazy
Still
ass
running into
homeless
hardships
people?
every day.
Yeah, isn't that
Well, because
life?
you had a real job for a minute, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was a waiter. I did carpentry. I did sales for 2 years.
You made sales for ships?
Yes.
Okay.
Individual weave. So I did that. I mean, I was in sales for 2 years doing like 60 hours a week, grinding, chasing just the money, basically.
Paper train.
Which was great. But
Sounds like it.
since last May, I basically left that last May, and I've just been, pursuing music full time. Definitely running out of money. But but I mean, a lot of the reasons I think I've been running out of money is because I've been definitely looking towards trying to record as much as possible and push out content rather than just
Be a pro.
gig like a motherfucker like this guy making the fucking bacon over here.
But How do you think he affords all those nice denim
yeah,
jackets?
Look at this guy.
Someone's got to make the bread around here.
But I don't know. So it's definitely coming to a point where I kind of got to reevaluate because I'm living in this, one bedroom, super expensive, and I'm thinking about asking Brent to move in with me because I can't afford it anymore.
What neighborhood are you in?
Right outside WeHo, so like between
He's
WeHo and Hollywood.
Literally like due north of here.
Yeah.
A mile and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's where I first lived when I moved down.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I think the key is you can do both for sure.
Right.
But the problem is most people can't, and it's because of the partying, the late nights, all these things.
Sure.
You got to find a way to do the gigs, make
Right.
your ched, go home and have a fucking
Good night's sleep.
amazing night's sleep, and
Right.
then hit your creations as hard as you can
The next day,
in
yeah.
any free time that you have at all.
Right.
And then go back to the gig
Exactly.
and just keep doing that.
Right.
That's how I've been sustaining. And then
Right.
slowly, the recording shit now makes money, and now the band makes money from all the streams that we
Right.
get, and all these things like that.
Right.
And now
Right.
sync opportunities, which the more content you have, I can start linking you up. I got people now.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah,
Hey.
Yeah, so
Hey.
He's got a guy.
a couple guys
Oh, really?
and a chick. Yeah.
Wow. Mm. But yeah, I mean, to kind of go in conjunction with what you said right there, it's all about discipline. Being able to live in LA as an artist, make ends meet, and to stay here long enough to see all your hard work come to fruition takes a lot of discipline because it's almost like a rite of passage when you move out here to get into the partying too hard. It happens to everybody.
For sure.
And you've got to realize that and stop it before it, destroys you financially or physically.
Right.
Because it will in due time. It's hard not to party here because there's always so much shit going on.
Right.
And drugs and excessive everything is so pervasive out here.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to have that self-discipline to understand why you came out here in the first place and hold on to that is really important. And I myself ran into that too. And like a lot of it has to do with the people that you have around you. Because another falsehood about LA is that everyone is cutthroat and wants to undermine you and doesn't want to see you succeed because you're competitive. Like I have so many people that are on my side that put themselves on my side. It wasn't like, can you be my friend? They're like they want to for whatever reason they want to see me succeed. And I had this experience about 3 days ago with this woman who I hold in really high regard, who's a successful stunt woman, and she just pretty much like laid into me about time management and about pursuing everything and about not wasting God-given opportunities and things that I've worked for. I'm like, I needed that. I needed to hear that.
Hey, you've
And-
been chasing too much tail, huh?
Yeah. Straight up, yeah. I mean, and I can't stop.
It's too hard. Well, the thing about the tail chasing is, A, it's fun as hell, right?
I love women. Nobody loves women more than me.
but it's also an amazing avenue for personal growth if you're actually doing it properly and getting after it. So like it becomes this thing where it's not only just like about the decadence side of it. It is hard work if you're actually doing it like the way you were doing it too, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but again, phases, which is something else that I did want to talk about, which is just you have to, in order to do anything well, you do have to kind of dive in. So you've done that though. So now you're at a level where it's good. You could probably pump the brakes a little bit and let life kind of come at you on that front and then be more focused on the shit you actually want to do in your career and your life and shit like that. But then you'll go through another phase, I'm sure, where it's like back on the lady grind. You know, it's just that everything comes in waves like that.
Sure.
And
Sure.
for me, it's always just content. Like how much can I take in? How much information? How many songs? How many like? I love taking in new shit because I want to become not taking in new whatever. It makes you feel like you're becoming a better person in some way.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But then you gotta do something with that, and you gotta turn that off. And for me, like being more sensitive to that with being sober last month really helped too. Where it's just like, all right, time to do stuff.
Right.
Time to just be in the world a little bit. Time to
Right.
take everything that I've learned and see if I can integrate this and become this new person that I was trying to make in the first place.
Sure. Sure.
What phase are you in right now?
I think I'm getting out of party phase.
Yep.
Right. Party boy. What's the guy from
That was
Jackass?
it, yeah.
Party boy. I was
With
like,
Chris Pontius with the thong, just
that was me about 9 months ago.
The guy's a millionaire though. Just saying. As long as you can parlay it into some money, I don't have a problem with it.
But yeah, I don't know. When I first like got out of my job, you know, I had like this fat chunk of cash, and I was like, I'm on top of the world. And I was just like going out like every night, you know, just like bopping around Hollywood, you know, and that shit gets old quick. You know what I mean? And so like, I think now I'm definitely coming like out of party boy phase and into like heavy like work grind everyday phase.
hell yeah.
Right.
But the party phase, especially for you, because you're so, you know, charismatic and personable and all, like,
Oh baby.
it's only helped build this foundation for what you're trying to create. Honestly,
That's true. I mean, like I met you technically going out and partying
at the Silver
you
Lake
know?
Lounge.
Silver Lake Lounge, and I was
Oh
seeing,
wow,
like-
Yeah.
what a nice place.
That dump.
but yeah, I was like I was going out like drinking and I was at a friend's show who
Yep.
was opening for you guys or something.
Yeah, I think they played after us.
or
Actually.
yeah, played after you guys. And yeah, I was just like went up to Jordan. I was like, dude, that was dope. They were playing an electronic set, which like, you know, I'd never really seen something like that. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Curious. So we connected, and then yeah.
Yeah, it was just randomly throughout, you know, hey, what's up, dude? You know, just little check-ins and shit like that until
Right.
finally, oh, I'll come to another show, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then, oh, I got some shit I want to work on, you know, and then boom. And now it's just like, I want this guy to win at all things. That's all I want.
Yeah,
You too.
I mean, that's the real LA. I feel like
Right.
Yeah.
where I would love to see my friends succeed, and not even because it'll, you know, being associated with them will perpetuate my own success. I mean, that's part of it, but really, like somebody like Austin, right? Who, if you follow the show, Austin Charles, fantastic musician, check him out. He's almost as good looking as me. Yeah, like somebody like that. I mean, I want him to succeed because he's so talented and he's such a good soul.
Great guy.
Right?
Right.
And yeah, just not even to say like, oh, I know this dude, like just because I love him as a friend, you know, and same with you, but even more because I've known you longer, right? And because it'll make the podcast great and I don't have to work anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I really want to see good people succeed. I'm not a Tanya Harding, right? Where if you're doing better than me, I'm gonna hit you in the knee with a
kneecaps out, boy.
clipper. Yeah, I'm not gonna sabotage you unless you cross me.
Right.
But yeah,
Everything is respect around here. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's one of the parts of LA is like navigating through the friend groups and like finding the people and surrounding yourself with the real homies, you know, because like,
Yep.
at the end of the day, you know, I think life is all about the people that you surround yourself with, you know, and if you surround yourself with you know, great people that, you know, everyone's kind of pushing each other up all the time, supporting each other, you know, there's plenty of food to eat, so to speak.
yes.
And then holding each other accountable is the other thing too.
Right.
Because
True.
that's the hardest position for most friends and relationships.
I was just gonna say that.
But it's one of the most important things that you
Right.
could possibly do, and it's
Right.
tough because you know nobody wants to be the one friend that's like, "Are you on your shit? Huh? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing?" You know,
Right.
because it's not the fun person necessarily, but
Right.
it's so valuable to have someone like that around. And for me, it's Sean. Like he's on my ass all the time.
Yeah,
you know?
I think like Niv and I, Niv's the producer on Break You Off. We for a while we were doing like accountability buddies,
Yep.
which is like send each other goals Sunday night. And we're like, yo, if you don't make these, you know, you got to donate $50 to Trump's campaign, basically. So the punishment was.
That's
And
fucking
so,
of all the things you could choose,
Right.
like you say, you got to do 50 push-ups or something. You
Yeah.
got to run a mile.
Give
no,
me
but
50
who wants
bucks.
to give $50 to Trump? Like, fuck that.
We give $50 to any politician.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, yeah. So,
This is for Hillary.
so I mean, you got to find ways to. I mean, because like when we were doing that, we kind of after the new year, I went home. We haven't started back up again. But when we were doing that, I was definitely more productive, like
Yep.
than I've ever been. When you know you're like, shit, I can't. It's not like I'm not. It's like you know, you let yourself down so what, but like you let your friend down. It's a whole different kind of guilt that you have associated with those. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I got an accountability buddy, I guess you could say. He's this older. He's an actor. His name's Terry, and we just really hit it off. And I respect this guy. And I mean, he's just someone that gets me. And as most of our listeners know, I'm kind of a contentious person in a way, and tough. And I really don't like everybody.
Yeah.
But like right away, I hit this guy off, and like I have so much respect for him. I love this guy, and he's the guy that told me about you got to learn the scales before you can wear the leather pants.
Yep.
So like he was talking to me about my career and where I am at my life. And last night he was telling me like there's this thing you got to do. You got to do it, Tom. You got to do it. And I'm like, you know, I can't do it tonight. He's like, well, then tomorrow you have to do this thing twice. Then you got to make up for it because you can't build a foundation on sand. And I'm like, dude, you're totally right. You're the guru. You have the wisdom. And he just sent back like a picture of Morgan Freeman. I'm like, I'm like, dude, that's what I need, because I'll disappoint myself all day. You know, like if I was doing this podcast by myself, I may or may not have done it today.
Yeah.
But because I have you here and you here, it's like I will get my ass
Yeah.
here like
Right.
5 minutes late, but I'm here.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's the thing about any creative thing, especially if it's not, your cash cow, right? It's like, nothing is making you do this at all.
Right.
Like you got to really want to do it, and then if you have other people that rely on you, then that should be enough to keep
That's
some
a
shit going.
great point. I think that's one thing that I've like struggled with the most this year, is that my whole life was like you go to this job and you work your ass off and then you come home with money.
Yeah.
Right. And so like this past year has been like, this is really weird, working harder than I've ever worked and losing money.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, you wait, like I wake up every day. I'm like, fuck, this better pay off someday. But I mean, like, like with sales and stuff like that, like it was so easy for me to just like, this is what I have to do. I have to go do this.
Yep.
This is because I'm going to make a lot of money. This is going to pay off, and I know it's going to pay off. But like, it's hard going from something like that where the money's guaranteed
Yep.
to doing the art full time, and it's like, fuck, like, am I going to be able to eat this week? I don't know.
It's kind of crazy.
It's fucking nuts. But
Yeah, and it's tough this day and age too, because everything changes so quickly, and everything is based on God knows what. Like you're busting your ass making tracks, making good songs, like the soundtrack to Love Making, for the love of God, and like then Cash Me Outside gets a $10 million record deal. Like
Yep.
fucking shit, man. That's all I have to say. It's the best way I can articulate it, is just fucking shit.
Right.
But whatever, you got to persevere. You can't despair.
No, you can't.
cannot despair, man.
And a lot of
That's when
peop-
you lose.
Right. I've had like, so many close, very good friends, they're gone now. They left, and like my friend Jordan, who's a girl actually.
It's a by name.
Jordyn, I think.
Of course it is.
The other day she was like, "Oh, another one bites the dust." And I was like really thinking about it. I was like, "No, like for real though, I've had like 7 or 8 of my very close friends, like musicians, just close buddies from Boston, like just move back." You know
Yep.
what I mean? They're like, "You know what, dude? I've had it. I'm done." And I think it really takes like true balls to like stay here and be like, because at the end of the day, I really think it's more about persistence than talent or anything like that. If you just kind of go for it.
Dude, absolutely. Like, oh my God, that's it. Is persistence over talent. Like
Right.
10 times out of 10, dude.
Right.
It's about sticking to it, and that's the hardest thing. Like God given, or you can work for it or whatever. But like, dude, persistence, that quality, you will most likely make it.
Right.
It might take 40 years,
Right.
but if you're just a dogged motherfucker and you persist like a warrior or something, like you'll make it. I mean,
Right.
your music's great. And how old are you?
27.
27. Okay, you're 27. Just think where you're gonna be when you're 30. If your shit's already like doing that and everything. And
Yep.
yeah, I mean, just you got to keep doing what you're doing because
Right.
you're on the path.
Right.
Like it's hard for people to find the path, but once you're on it, just get that momentum.
Right.
And it's all just exponential. Once
Very true.
the victories start happening, it just starts to fucking
Right.
really spread out, and stuff won't come to fruition that you didn't even realize was something in the first place.
Possible, yeah.
And then a couple years later, or a couple months later, whenever, someone reappears who has an opportunity for you, and you actually are ready for it now because you
Right.
weren't ready at the time. And like, it's insane, but you have to be here.
Right.
And like, even for me, I could live in Orange County and make insane money as just a gigging professional musician.
Sure. Because the
So much money down
opportunities
there.
are right.
And I could live near the beach for less than
Right.
I pay right now.
Right.
Have a standalone house with a dope studio, and
Right. Live that
every-
Cali boy lifestyle.
everything could be the same, except probably better in the immediate for me.
Right. Exactly.
But-
Immediate.
That's it though. That it doesn't get any better than that at that right down
Right,
there. And for
right.
me, I just want to be in the mix, and I love meeting new people, and I love being surrounded by artists and musicians and all these
Right.
people. And who knows where the fuck that can go, And it's just being here. And that's even like if I had to move to like Encino, I'm like, no, like I gotta be fucking here or North Hollywood, like,
Right.
but like,
North Hollywood's the limit.
yeah. So that's pretty much my two options for where I can live for the next 10 years.
Right. Right.
Or Santa Monica. It's nice. up
Yeah,
there.
Santa Monica's good. It's ironically centrally located. I found that when I moved there. I'm like, it's very accessible
Yep.
to get everywhere from Santa Monica.
True.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to live there too. That's not lost on me. But yeah, I mean, and on top of the Orange County hypothetical lifestyle that you were talking about, you can always do that later,
Exactly.
right? Yeah, that's an option. It's option B, and that's sweet. You're sitting pretty if
Yep.
that's your red button
'Cause
option.
I call that I'm 40, and I could be the king of OC. Like that's literally, and that doesn't like I know that's available to me anytime I want.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
pretty insane.
Right. True.
Nice. Okay, so what's next? Are you going to start what do you play a bunch of shows in LA with your music and everything? How do you go about that?
I mean, for like personal music, like the repertoire of Maxi, usually it's like a gig a month, gig every 2 months.
It's a way to do it.
Yeah, because for us, specifically for the boat I'm in right now, I'm really trying to like gain a fan base, and so to do 2 shows a week of the same set, your following is going to fall off and be like, oh, okay, these are the same songs I saw last week.
Yep.
So instead of oversaturating the market with shows and having people show up and pay and everything, I think it's smarter for in this time, at least, of my career, to do kind of like a 1 show a month, one every 2 months, and then fill the rest of the month with income gigs. So mostly what I've been doing for stuff like that is hotel gigs. I go to Palm Springs once a week, do the W on Tuesdays, Everbar sometimes. So those have been kind of, where I actually make money. But
Yeah.
Yep.
because a lot of these bookers in town are like, they're like, yeah, we're gonna book, we're gonna promote. They don't bring fucking one person out.
Nope.
They take $250 of your money at the door just for standing there.
Yep.
It's like, fuck those people.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's their business. They don't care about you.
No, they don't
You're-
give a shit about the artist. And like, I don't know how that started, but like, that's how they make an income. It's, whatever.
It's evil.
They could be making so much more. That's the funny thing. If
Right.
they actually did their fucking job.
Exactly. But it's like those types of gigs are a lot of the gigs in Hollywood where it's literally like pay to play, where they're like, there's all these desperate,
People just moved here. They
people
need,
that just moved
they
here.
need
that-
to make sure that their friends in Kansas City can see a photo of them on a prestigious stage.
Right. Right.
and people prey upon that. That is a part of LA.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I know, and I resent that so much because it wasn't like that back in the day. I feel like, I don't know if this is just idealist revisionism, but I feel like it was a lot more pure when you were in LA in the 70s, 80s, and maybe even the 90s.
Oh, I'm
before
sure.
it was all like, okay, we're going to give you 50 tickets that you have to buy from us. That's, you got to sell at $20 a pop. And like,
It's
I just
fucking
moved here. I don't know
ridiculous.
50 people,
Right.
let alone 50 people who are going to get off work on a Wednesday, fight traffic from wherever the hell
For
they
7
are.
p.m. set.
Yeah. Like
It's fucking ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, and it's insulting because art is a craft, and like it's the same people that'll book you and say you talked about the sanctity of art and the artist and everything, and then rip you off.
right.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, so that does exist here, and it's shameful, and that's why I need to open up my restaurant at Tommy's on the west side.
Oh,
where,
yeah, baby.
where you'll be able to perform, and I won't charge you shit, and I'll pay you and
Right.
feed you and all that. But
Right.
that's far off. I got to sell some real estate first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, man. And I was telling him before, but like when we were on tour in Canada and we played at Lee's Palace in Toronto,
Yeah.
it was like no requirements at all. We're a band from out of town.
Right.
They totally took a gamble on us. We had, fortunately, another 2 acts from Ontario that
Cool.
played with us, so they brought some people. We brought like 30 or 40.
Wow.
Yeah.
How
of-
the fuck did you?
I know
draw
people.
in
I
Canada?
got Canadians, and it was all pay. Like all they needed was to pay the sound engineer and the staff.
Right.
And to them, I think they decided that was 200. I can't remember what the exact figure. Between 150 and 250, and that for between all 3 acts.
Wow.
And at $10 a pop. So everybody made money.
Right.
The
Right.
place, they're not overstaffing these places. It's all you need is one really good engineer to get the whole place up and running with
Right.
the lights and
Right.
everything else, and then 2 bartenders, and that's it. And it's someone to work the door.
Right.
And this place is big, but in LA, if people just kind of worked around that, like you'd be surprised what type of scene you might be able to create.
Right. Right.
And they'd probably end up making more money in the long run too.
Of
I know.
course.
But
Yeah.
everybody's got to make their nut as quick as possible. And I get it because a lot of bands also do a shit job of bringing anybody.
Right.
And it's like they can't risk giving up a Friday night to somebody who's not going to do their part either.
Sure.
It's but it's just fucked that that's the system.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
I don't know.
so uncool.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very
It exploits the artists, and I really don't like that. I really don't like anybody getting taken advantage of. But what are you gonna do?
Right.
So anyway, very good. Well,
So yeah, you actually did you have a question?
what are your outside interests?
Oh.
What do you like to do when you're not, if you're not making music or working?
I mean, honestly, lately it's like anytime I'm hanging out with someone or being social, it's literally like to get shit done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is like
I can respect that.
kind of transferred in from like always going out and partying and just like life is just this
Yeah.
big thing and I don't know what's going on. But nowadays it's like anytime I'm hanging out with someone, 9 times out of 10 it's to like be productive on something. But
Like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
But I mean, outside of music and stuff like that, I mean, I like walking a lot. I don't have a car. Take my ass on the bus a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Walking has been something that's like actually really helped me because you kind of just get to decompress and clear your head.
Yep.
I kind of like it's like meditative almost.
Yep.
Exercise, gym, stuff like that. But when I first moved to California, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be like, I can't wait to surf every day. I'm gonna like be at the beach all the time, and then
Takes
I
an
was,
hour and a half
Yeah,
to get
Yeah.
there.
I was like,
Everyone thinks that. and
Right.
I live in Santa Monica, about
nice.
less than a mile from the beach, and
Sweet.
I never go to the beach.
Yeah.
Never, ever, 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 fucking ever. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, which is kind of like why I'm like, well, maybe I should move back to Hollywood. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably go this summer. But it's all like for a purpose. Like I'll go to the beach because I'll have to get tan for like a fitness shoot or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's not because I just want to. I hate just like laying there and baking and just like okay, I got things I need to get done, but I paid the parking meter for 2 hours and
All right, just meditate, motherfucker. Meditate, meditate.
yeah. My mind moves too fast.
Right.
And I wish I'd get into surfing too, but I saw a shark in open water once. That totally ruined the ocean for me. So yeah, I can't do that either.
I got my skimboard. I love skimboarding.
There you go.
Nice.
And
Maybe
it's-
I could do
it's
that.
exercise too.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the cold water is just like that shit wakes you up. Salt on the pores. It's all good. I don't go
Very
enough
good.
either, but I
No.
love it though.
Like eventually I'd my end goal for LA is to like have a dope spot in Venice. That's kind of like my end goal, you know, and be right next to the beach. But for right
Love
now,
Venice.
it's like got to be close to all the action, and I don't have a car, so I got to be, you know, a $5 Uber from all the gigs, basically.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a good point.
So what is your what's the ideal vision you see for your career?
I mean, as of right now, I just want to get out there and like play. Like honestly, like I love the studio and, you know, putting down beats, and it's exciting, but I think like my true calling is performance. I think like since a little kid, I've always been like trying to entertain people and, you know, do funny things and perform. And then I think that's how naturally I kind of came to this profession. So I mean, right now I just want to like hit the road and tour and be in a different place all the time. Living in LA, I kind of feel like you know, I get like trapped here and I never like leave Hollywood. And so, I mean, you know, I'm all about traveling and seeing the world. That's kind of like my end goal, is just to play and travel and make a living. You know, it doesn't have to be like a $1 million salary. To be honest, that'd be great. But I mean, right now it's just like, I'd be totally fine with living, you know, humbly for the rest of my life, as long as I could, you know, just get out on the road and play my music,
Make the
and
money on the music.
entertain. Yeah.
Right. As an artist or as a side person or any
As
or
an
all of it?
artist. Yeah, as an artist. I mean, if someone was like, yo, Maxie, we want you on, you know, guitar for, you know,
6
a year,
months, yeah.
6 months to a year tour, you know, we're paying this much, I'd jump on it.
Yeah.
Because you don't get those opportunities. You get maybe one of those once or twice in your life. So
Yeah.
I would jump on it, but I mean, my end goal is like, I want to be the artist on stage, and I want to have, you know, the crowd know the songs and singing along, and that's huge dream of mine. So
Well, you're definitely doing the right moves to make that happen.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, by being on this podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, good lord, man.
Best move you ever did.
What an investment. Yeah. No, and it's worth the $500 you're gonna have to pay us.
At least we'll collect on the way out.
Yeah, we slide that in at the end. Yeah.
I didn't bring out the hourglass today, so I have no idea how long we've been going for.
I can't tell you how long it feels. All I can tell you is feels good.
Does feel
Feels
good.
good.
Feels
really
hella
good.
good. Yeah, you guys
Nice.
got to jam sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, we
Yeah.
should. I'm starting to play a lot more. Corey has a contact for some songwriting and placement stuff that's like a light at the end of the tunnel, and that's something that we had a long talk last night. My buddy Corey and I, who you really get along with.
Cool.
Most likable guy in the universe next to me, of course. And we were talking about making music and songwriting and all that, and how much everything has changed, and you kind of get when you realize what the industry is about and what you got to do, and the shittiness of the music that's at the top and making the money, it really makes you think. But we're like, now we have something to shoot for, a target, a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm like, well, no, I kind of want to write some songs. He's like, yeah, me too. And before we were just like, let's just hang out and shoot the shit and talk about women, right? Which we still do a lot.
Yeah.
And we're just trying to understand them at all. But yeah, I mean, so now we have that to shoot for. It's something legitimate, and like I have a back catalog of music that has a possibility of getting placed. So it's something fun, and it's all about keeping your eye on that prize. But the prize has to be there. Like that's the thing of just like hanging on to that prayer, that hope. That can only take you so far before. Right. Like if you're a realist and you have other things that you could do that are good and could be lucrative and give you fulfillment, you're gonna go do those things. Yeah. More practical career options. And but yeah, so that's a good thing. So we got that coming up. We're gonna start writing some songs. Awesome. We gotta finish that one.
Yeah.
That's the one that I think she wants. So anyway,
it's a dope track. Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because my agent, he used to be a Yamaha sales rep. So he would set up people's home studios a lot of times too, because he would get them fitted with what they needed and things like that. And we're talking, people who are willing to spend 20, 30 grand on a home studio.
Wow.
All just hobbyists, lawyers,
right?
People who are never gonna really do it for real,
sure.
but have better equipment and better studios than anybody that he meets who's like a true artist who cares about putting shit out. How ironic is that?
Of course.
But it's just funny. Then, so he's seen the whole thing where he was a lead singer in an original band from Arizona.
Wow.
Then he started managing the biggest cover bands from Arizona. That one of those bands got signed by Steve for a residency in Vegas. So they all moved to Vegas, and Woody was the manager. Then he started managing other acts and just like all these things.
Cool.
So he's seen the whole situation, and he could not be, less naive. Like, I mean, yes, less naive, meaning the complete opposite of naive. Like where he just like, he commends people for trying to make original music, and he loves that people do, but he's also like, you probably should think about what you're doing.
Seriously, though, I mean, and nobody wants to hear that, and myself included when I was young and an idealist, because no one goes into this knowing what the situation is and what the score is and everything like that. And you find that out along the way, and then you're just like, oh my God. I found this, there was an image on 4chan yesterday, and it was talking about, I think it was like the #1 rap song right now, and it drops so many of a particular word I can't read it on air, but it's just so awful and so stupid. Such a fucking insult to everyone that this is actually like this guy's got a record deal and he is fucking living the dream, and it's the dumbest shit you've ever heard in your life.
Right.
And then you've got people that are just like eating dog food, just trying to like make ends meet, that are putting out some genuinely good stuff.
Right.
And record executives won't even give them the time of day.
Right.
And honestly, I will say this, it's because they're pushing that shit intentionally.
Oh, of course.
They know it's shit. They know it's bad. They know it's degenerate, but they're pushing it intentionally. Like there are some serious nefarious forces in entertainment.
And it's just so easy to replicate. So if you have a win on any of these fronts, you can just immediately prop up the next person or have the next single down the pike ready to go that you know will succeed,
it's
because people are expecting it.
It's like, why did they remake Spider-Man like 100 fucking
exactly.
times?
Oh,
it's a guaranteed
insane.
win. It's like, why did they, keep bringing on these artists that like it's genuine garbage?
Yep.
but it's like a guaranteed cash cow. They're like, dude, I'm gonna put this dude on, gonna invest in this guy, and he's literally gonna make us millions of dollars.
And because it's about nothing, you can have a follow-up. That's the thing about any true amazing conceptual art. You can't just follow it immediately. Like it takes a lot of work and effort and insight to come up with great shit.
Right. Right.
And it's all about the follow-up. That's why you see Post Malone is killing. That's why you see Ariana Grande is killing.
Do you see her tattoo?
No.
On her hand?
Yeah, I heard about it though.
Yeah,
a misspelled Japanese word or something.
Yeah, which is like, first of all, it's kind of messed up that's a commonality with tattoo artists that do things in like Japanese or Chinese characters. Well, they'll get something that means like strength and trust or something, and then they'll be like, it'll be something ridiculous, like I don't know, I eat animal byproducts or something like that. Like just like off the wall. Yeah, like just totally Japanese humor too. And like just off the wall. And yeah, her tattoo on the palm of her hand, like it means something so stupid and so ridiculous. But it's like, you know what? I don't care. You kind of suck. So
she's talented as hell.
As an individual, she does not use her platform with what she should use it for.
No, and
you should do that.
Yeah,
like you should be a good person if you're blessed like that. Because what she's done to young girls, I mean, I'm just gonna be real, and I'm gonna come out and say it, and it's like a politically incorrect thing to do. She's encouraging creating a generation of vapid sluts. That's exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but
how old
girl
is she?
power.
Is she like 20, 25?
Dude, she's
25
from our
26.
neck of the woods in
Yeah.
South Florida.
No way.
Yeah,
No
she
way.
is, and
went
she
to
and
Pinecrest.
yeah, she's
Rich.
Yeah, was from a very very wealthy family, and like did not really have to pay her dues.
Was she
But-
really?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw this this image on the internet, and it was really, I mean, it was a very powerful image. It was like all these girls that go to Ariana Grande concerts, they were like bunny ears and all this. They're basically dressed like fucking Playboy bunnies.
Right.
And they're like 13 years old, and they're like taken, and you remember like her concert in the UK got shot up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was like these two girls like sticking their tongues out, like, one has like a lollipop, and they're dressed in all this glitter and all this shit. And there are these two like stone-faced, like fully clad armed guards with fully automatic weapons behind them,
It's insane.
guarding the show.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's like,
Wow.
this is the fucking society we live in right now. And I'm not saying it's her fault that
No,
that
not at all.
happened. I'm not
I mean,
saying that at all.
There's been a million before her. I mean, starting with Madonna, going to Britney, going to all of them. Like
Dude, Marilyn Monroe. I can't believe. I mean, I understand why she's a sex symbol, but like the dumbest quote in the world is, "If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best." Like fucking John F. Kennedy. Like you're a smart guy, but why did you have to fuck her and put her on the map? Good God.
because he had to fuck everyone.
He had to.
He was
Yeah.
a big addict.
Yeah.
I mean, it's weird to see, especially like with music. I mean, like the Beatles were an outrage to the parents of like the
Yeah.
teenagers that were listening. They were like, "This is like horror."
I wanna hold your hand.
I was gonna say because their music sucks.
They heard like they heard like "Baby, like Let Me Love You," and it was like the parents were outraged. They were like, "What is this whorish music? This my kids will never listen. Like this is against the Bible." And now to come like to what's on the radio now, it's like the most derogatory towards women. It's like the most disgusting shit, and everyone's singing along to
Yeah,
it.
and
You know what
but
I mean?
and simultaneously, we're at a point where you're not supposed to say anything that is
It's
objectifies
it's
women at all in your personal life, but somehow a rapper can just fucking
it's
do
so
it
ridiculous
nonstop.
because like the top 50 stream songs on Spotify are like like directly calling women like whores, like horrible derogatory shit. And that's a really good point because we're at a time now where you can't get away with saying anything without some type of backlash. But then the whole general public and like what's huge and what's being promoted is actually like totally
It's
contradicting
so
all
confusing.
that. It's so
Well,
confusing.
And here's the double standard. The same women that will call you out on, I mean, I would never call a woman anything like that because, like that's really messed up. Just don't say anything.
Right.
But the same woman that will call people out for that love those songs.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, if they didn't have double standards, they wouldn't have any. And the last thing I'll say about the thing with the Beatles is here's the thing about those parents back in the day. We look at them, we think back, oh, they were so naive and sheltered and archaic. They weren't talking about just the song that the Beatles were singing there. They were saying they're trying to change everything because it's going to get worse. This is the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And that's
a
the
good
way
point,
that these
actually.
subversive forces on our society have always been. You look at something like I didn't want to really discuss it, but this is kind of an interesting segue, so I'll take the opportunity. Like something like abortion. They're like, well, just in the case of rape and incest, like, oh, it's a person, but okay, extenuating circumstance, that's fine. Okay, then it's like, okay, but like, okay, if the mother, if it's going to destroy life and she can't afford to pay for the kid and the husband leaves, in just the first trimester, like, okay. And
Yeah.
you continue to cede ground. And then last week, what do we got? Third trimester abortion. The baby could be coming out and it's fucking legal and encouraged by society to kill a child. And that is what it is. That is not any like women's rights shit. You're killing a kid. All right. And if you don't think so and you do that, tell me what the rest of your life is going to be like. I mean,
Yeah,
it is just so disgusting.
It's just odd that life shouldn't be a whole fucking chasm of slippery slopes. It should be, this is what is right. This is what we like the Beatles, right? Like, okay, we like the Beatles. That doesn't mean that Miley Cyrus has to exist next. You know what I mean? Like same with the abortion thing. Like first trimester or early term in crazy circumstances, it's probably better than that child having a broken home that's
But
gonna.
that's how they get you. They know that. They know they're not
get
going to
you?
stop there.
No, why? But why do they not need to stop there? That's my point. What did they gain out of having that legal, other than like people who want to do it, I guess? But like I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Okay, well here's why. You want to know why? And I'm gonna get like really fucking dark here. And I read this yesterday, and like I lost sleep over it. Because you want to get red pilled on abortion, watch the management board of Planned Parenthood talk about how when
she's sick, right?
when they abort a baby, the first thing they do is cut the larynx, and she's like laughing about it, so you can't hear the baby scream as they're killing it. That is what's going on. So think about that shit for a second before you talk about my body, my choice.
Yeah.
That's what's really going down. Okay, and that didn't happen overnight. They did that, and that's what they wanted from the beginning. And I read a book on this called Subversive about Planned Parenthood and everything like that. And that's what they wanted from the beginning. That's what it was all about. And
But why? Who gets joy out of killing babies? That's my question.
sick psychopaths. You don't think those people exist? Who do you
Yeah,
think
but-
runs our society?
But the same people
Like
who
Bill Burr
kill,
says.
but the same people who kill people, you know what I mean? Like, it should be pretty obvious at that point. You know what I mean? That's all my point is. Like, why is everything like if you give an inch, somehow the other side takes it to the nth degree? But why does the other side want that? I don't get it. That's my question. I really don't.
Because you're a normal person. That's why you don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where did this law pass? Is that
New York.
federal?
Yeah, New York State.
New York.
Yeah.
Third trimester.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they're trying to do it in Virginia. They're trying to do it in other states too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Roe versus Wade will never be overturned. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I'm pretty sure she's dead. Like, she hasn't been around.
Yeah.
No one can find her. She had surgery, and then she's been in the hospital, and everyone's like assuring you that she's alive. It's like, well, if she was alive, wouldn't she just come out and say it? But she's probably dead or on life support. But they don't want to give Donald Trump a third appointment for the Supreme Court, so they're trying to fake that she's alive or some kind of weird hologram of this of this crazy lizard woman. But yeah, Roe versus Wade will never be overturned, and that was the first step in that direction. And I understand, like in the case of rape and incest, or if it's gonna like kill the mother, like, but that's almost like an in before, you know, or, like we're so far past that where it's like, no, it doesn't matter. It's the woman's body, and
Yeah, but I mean, But then I guarantee you, the crazy conservatives would be like, well, no contraceptives or anything like that either, or Plan B or anything like that.
of course we got to have a reasonable middle ground.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's
and
all I'm saying.
also not like the same people like, oh, well, now we got to teach kids about sexuality in the second grade. It's like, no, there should honestly be a sanctity involved in that. Like, call me old school, but like, dude, I cannot just go and rail through random women. I can't do it. I won't do this. This is fucking not my thing, dude.
You mean busting nuts up in there, or just period?
No, I mean just like we're not gonna get too into to Tom Bates' personal life, but like, I like, dude.
Are you a nut buster or?
Meaningless sex is meaningless, and I've no, because it feels cost benefit analysis to me. I'm so analytical that.
But you still had to do it to figure that out. And what if somebody got pregnant along the way?
They didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe in the state of Utah.
Maybe because you were taught to, do safe practices and not to bust up in people. And that the
Dude,
fact
I
that
didn't need to be
contraceptive-
taught that. Everybody knows that.
No.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to bust in people. That's our natural inclination, okay?
Sure, it's about. Feel free to chime in on this. I feel like we're just going at this now.
Always pull out.
See, that's
APO, baby, APO.
that's scary with that, but
Yeah. I mean,
you're a sprayer, I see.
that's a good show title too.
Oh, you're a sprayer.
With Maxie. Maxie the sprayer.
Yep.
Or just always wrap it up and don't be an idiot. I don't know.
That is the key.
Yeah.
No, but it's fascinating for her, and I don't know. A
But
lot of this stuff just seems so fucking easy to get right.
People don't talk about the psychological toll that takes on you. And like, I'm not even being puritanical here. Like for women and guys, the higher number of partners you have, it takes a psychological toll on you, and it destroys your ability to pair bond. That's one of the reasons why we see the
Yeah, you need
divorce rate
novelty
being
like crazy,
so
yeah.
high. That's why people aren't getting in relationships that last more than like a month or two. I mean, dude, honestly, it's even tough for me. Like, at any given moment, there's like 5 or 6 girls that are like,
You're like, you're pretty hot, but like this chick's like real hot, and if I were to bust in her, that would make a hot ass baby.
Honestly, I woke up this morning, and before I came to this podcast, like, that situation happened to me in my own personal life. But at the same time, that's why we talk about pair bonding, because that's something mental. That's something that can't be taught by the public school education about in sex ed, because they're just talking about, like, if you want to physically just throw on one of Maxie's tracks and go at it.
Yeah.
you know?
What's pair bonding? Sorry.
Pair bonding is essentially when people fall in
monogamy.
love,
Fall in
and
love, okay. Right.
long term
Relationship.
monogamy, anything like that.
Sure.
And that's something that's difficult to do. And again, with our society's culture of instant gratification, it's like, oh, he said something I didn't like, well, fuck him, bye, because I have 5 other guys pursuing me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's wonderful, but those 5 other guys, honey, they're just trying to fuck you.
But you know what's crazy too? If you go way back in culture before civilization, pair bonding wasn't really a thing either, because everybody was raising each other's kids. There were a lot of cultures where they actually thought they could make super babies by having multiple loads all at once trying to get the best attributes from all the guys in the tribe into one woman.
Is that any successful tribe that has a civilization right now?
I mean, we might be a part of it.
I don't think so.
That's all I'm
No,
saying.
well, Nordic tribes, Western, Northern European and Nordic tribes
I am 6 loads.
that founded, yeah, probably are, that founded Western civilization. 10 million spermia. You were the fastest. I find that hard to believe. But anyway,
Slow and steady wins the race, baby.
I guess so. Talk about perseverance, right?
Oh, I was getting there, motherfucker. You know.
I remember that journey. I waved my little tail all the
Winter
way to
is
that egg.
coming.
Yeah. No, but Northern European tribes, they had to go through these harsh winters. So, yes, the tribe had to help raise children, but that's why it was so important to pair bond, is because if you didn't pair bond and take care of that woman, she didn't find a husband, a male mate that would take care of her and provide for her through that winter while she's raising kids and is pregnant, she'll die.
But they also they didn't know whose kids were whose a lot of times. And there's all kinds of research on all this stuff. It's interesting. That's all I'm saying.
Citation needed.
I got plenty.
All right. Well,
I'm not on me.
I want to see the bibliography after the show.
I mean, it's the argument that always comes back is like, are human beings meant to be monogamous or no? You know what I mean? And I think like at the end of the day, we do have to remember we're just like a bunch of like running around Los Angeles.
Not me, man. I have reason.
But I mean, we are animals, and I think we do have like our natural instinctive. You know,
I also think that there's just 2 types of people, period. And it's clear, everything that we see in society and throughout, like the fact that you can cherry pick stats or science or anything and you can try to prove a particular thing. I think there's 2 truths in the world that coexist on opposite ends of the spectrum.
All right, let's hear this reductionism.
let's go.
That's all I'm saying. The fact, how can there be 2 people who are so convicted and 100% believe something, and they're both, one has to be wrong in a world where there's one truth, but I think there's no such thing as one truth. That's all I'm saying. And I think people, especially, we're all different. We come from different lineages. Like, who knows if we came from a tribe of bonobo-like fuckers, or if we were like the first ones to be like, no, you will stay in the kitchen and you will be my wife. Like, you know, I
think it's about sharing responsibilities, not you stay in the kitchen.
No, I know.
Yeah.
That was me joking about the 50s. But
50s were the pinnacle of Western civilization, but please continue.
Yes, and they talk like this too, yeah? You come over and you just, hey, Susan, come over here. Let me spank your ass, yeah?
no,
Oh, why don't people talk like that anymore?
I know, like,
We're bringing it back.
yeah. Oh, you want a record deal, you see? That would make this whole fucking situation so much better and comical
Yeah.
if the people are like, oh, yeah, you'd like to be a musician now,
Oh,
huh?
you think you got something special,
got
huh?
what it takes,
Wait,
sonny.
you know that Jimmy's way better than you, huh?
I don't know. It's just something that I've been thinking, and just polarity in general, and the fact that we have all these, if you want to go basic with it, like the Star Wars, the order versus the non-order, and like all these things. I think these are forces that are always going to be present no matter what, and there's no way to truly reconcile the 2. Unfortunately.
Sure.
That's where I'm at.
All right, now given all that half hour of information you just absorbed, Maxie, you're gonna on a point system tell us who's right, who's wrong, why, and cite your sources for our viewers.
I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like, I guess like the older I get, it's this is kind of sad.
Just say it.
I guess for me, the older I get, it's even harder to picture me with one person for the rest of my life. Like as I get older, I'm like, whoa, like. I see a lot of my friends kind of like pairing off. Everyone's got their couples, doing their couple thing. I got friends with kids back home. And maybe it's just the, time and place in my life where I am, where I have this like insane goal that I've set for myself. And I'm like, nothing can get in my fucking way of this goal.
Yep.
But I think like as I get older, it's harder for me to picture that, and I look at my parents and, they're split up. So maybe I have a cynical kind of reaction.
Most people's are.
Right. But I don't know. It's hard. It's just hard for me,
I think,
It's hard for me to picture being with one person for the rest of my life. It's just really difficult for me to picture that, and I think like maybe it's just I haven't, met the right girl yet. Maybe that's the true reason. But I think
But even if you do, you might end up over time not feeling that way. That's the reason people get divorced.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have this alter ego, Aunt Tammy. Okay, and I was gonna say,
Tammy.
I'm just gonna get like the most basic, like, okay, like I get it, like surface level information that I think is like such an like a hot take, like just like, well, Maxie, I haven't met the right one yet, I guess. Like,
All right, Aunt Tammy.
yeah, just like, oh, you lost your car keys? Did you check your pockets?
Yeah.
Like just that stupid shit. No, you're right, dude. And I mean, this debate is fun and it'll go on forever. And there's a lot of valid information.
There's two truths
on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, but it's something that's really plaguing our generation because I mean, and rightfully so. Like people are genuinely apprehensive about getting married for good reasons. People
'cause their
see the
parents are split,
divorce
yeah.
rate. People see the hell that their parents went through, and it's like at one point they were probably more in love than you could even comprehend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, my parents don't have a good relationship at all. And I mean, my mom was definitely in love with my dad. That's why she said yes when we asked her to marry her.
Yep.
And and then other people will be like, oh, it's maybe, it was financials. Like, no, I was pretty well off. It wasn't that. It was just didn't work out.
Right.
Yeah.
I think like in general, and I don't like I said, this is just my cynical take on thing. I think like love fades in many cases. You can keep things like spicy,
yeah,
keep
passion-
it hot, but like inevitably, the passion eventually is going to fade. You know what I mean? I think like the people that stay together and that make it work are the individuals that are best at like keeping that fire and finding ways
It's
to
effort.
like keep that
It's a
passion.
lot of
It's a
effort.
lot of effort,
And
right?
kids.
Yep.
That's certainly
no
that can make or break a relationship.
Right.
But like,
Right.
okay, you look at like take the hottest girl you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, there's this saying that's like, you show me a hot girl or hot guy if you're a chick or whatever, and I'll show you someone who's tired of fucking them.
Dude, I've been telling everyone that lately.
Yeah.
Where did you hear that? Because I heard that like a month ago.
Oh Jesus! I think my dad told
Yeah.
me that.
yeah, show me the hottest girl in the world, and then show me the dude who's sick of fucking her.
Yeah, and sick of her shit, and like, a guy that's like, a woman just can't handle him because he's fucking narcissistic, or whatever. Like,
I mean, same thing goes with guys too.
Yeah.
Show me the
Oh, yeah.
hottest strapping lad in the world, and then show me the chick who's absolutely sick
Yeah.
of fucking dealing with him.
Well, again, this is hardwired into us, and this is proven. And that's what I'm saying. Novelty and the variation of things that is in our fucking, because that, especially as a dude, more partners is better for your lineage. Like
from a biological
Yes,
perspective.
100%.
biological
Yeah.
standpoint, absolutely.
So it makes total sense that that's what would be hardwired into you. So, but there's all these people and all these sex researchers who tell you how to don't turn off that part of your brain, but use that to make make a relationship
To make
work.
it work, yeah.
by
Right.
making sure to flirt with waitresses, by just little things. Because what happens is people shut down and they become shells of themselves, and then nobody wants to fuck this person, let alone there's someone who's with them,
Right.
and that's somebody who knows them so well.
Right.
You gotta keep some mystery. You gotta
The mystery is huge. You got to keep
Yeah.
mystery. You got to
And then-
keep the space too.
Yep.
Got to have space. Got to be like wondering about the person.
Yeah,
What
so
are
I
they
mean,
doing right now?
there's a whole lot of factors, but the fact that you're supposed to just subscribe to no, you met your wife and that's that, and then you don't even think about anybody else ever again. That's why we're in the situation we're in, because of the naivety of that. Honestly,
But what's the biological purpose of sex and the cultural purpose of marriage?
one is
It's one purpose. Kids, children.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, to have children, raise children. That's literally the biological purpose of life. That's the whole point of why you're here from a biological perspective. So the whole point of marriage is to keep it together because it's better for children. I mean, you look at the statistics of like children born under a single mother have over an 80% higher propensity to commit violent crimes and to be into drugs. It's crazy. It's night and day, and this is objective empirical data.
But what about
So-
before marriage even existed?
Before marriage even existed, I don't think we were doing.
There were no such thing as crimes either. People, like that's my point. Is all I'm saying. But continue. Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, no. So anyway, I mean, the whole point of a marriage is not like, so I can just like be happy fucking this person my whole life. It's because you're supposed to create a household and a home together and create these children, and that's what your life becomes about, and that's how you find fulfillment. Like you're gonna look into after being married for 25 years, you know, you're not going to look at your wife the same way you did on the second date and you're ready to jump her bones, but you're going to be sitting at your kid's graduation and look into her and say, like, we did this together.
Yep.
You become a team on that. And I think society is losing that because everything is about sex now. Everything is about like, am I still going to want to bang him? Or like, oh, am I still going to be into him or whatever? And it's not that. It's on more of a mental, intellectual bonding level. And that's why pair bonding is the biggest deal. And that's why having multiple partners is really, really bad for pair bonding, because you think, well, I can get someone else like that. So why do I need to put up with this guy's shit?
Yeah.
You're going to get shit from anybody.
Everyone.
From everybody. Just because men and women are so fundamentally different. Hear that? That's a politically incorrect statement. Men and women are fundamentally different. We are. We complement each other. And I think men need women and women need men. I mean, again, like I love women. I do. I love them for what they are, and like I deal with women on that level on such a near constant. Like, I think I'm losing my hair, man. Like it, like sometimes just like God damn it, like just be regular, you know, be normal. Give me something here. But at the same time, then they'll do things, and it's like, I guess it kind of makes it all worth it in the end. It's a lot of give and take and compromise. But yeah, I mean, but that's what it is all about. Is it's about children. But like people again are afraid of having children because of divorce and everything like that. And like I understand why a woman would be apprehensive to have a kid.
Yeah.
Because like they've got to work. They've got nowadays, like, especially living in Southern California, both parents have to work.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you have a kid and you're paying for daycare and all this shit, like your whole paycheck is out the window before you even get it.
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
the
it's
babysitter's hot.
What?
And the babysitter's hot.
Babysitter's hot. But yeah, I mean it's just tough. But like again, like I mean you look at like my parents' relationship, like not putting you on blast, mom or dad, even though you don't watch the podcast.
Yeah.
So whatever. But you know, like that's what kept them together was the kids.
Yeah,
like they're like we're keeping it
Same for
together
my
for
parents, yeah.
the kids.
Me too.
Yeah. So I mean that's what happens. It's just like, oh man, I don't know. I am genuinely afraid of a loveless marriage though. That is a scary concept to think about because it blindsides you.
Well, and then for some reason you're evil if you're like, well, just, you know, the sex wasn't there. It's like, well, you know, like that's unfortunately that's gonna always be a part of you. You know what I mean? And that's where it goes. Like, well, maybe you have your bond with this person and the person who's gonna raise everybody, but maybe you can go do some other shit every now and then. I'm just throwing questions out there. Maybe. Or maybe it's the things like I said before, the ways to keep it fresh or anything like that. But the naive, because this is the one and that's that you got to get that out of your head, because that's just not going to work.
Yeah, one-itis. Well, I've got some advice for any relationships out there from Dr. Tom about what to do. And this is tried and true, and it works. So if you need something to spice up your relationship, I don't care if you've been married for 50 years, just do this, okay? You pour champagne on that pussy.
Send her to the fucking moon.
Do it. Pour champagne on it, baby.
So Max, that's actually somebody came up and told me to do that at a gig once.
Are you serious?
It was a gay my dick, and he was putting 20s in my pants. And then some girl in the audience,
he said that?
some girl in the audience
dude.
came up and said that she was my wife to get him off me.
No shit. Wow.
And she's like, oh, and she's like, oh, is your wife, huh? Yeah. You eat her pussy? I'm like,
Did he have an accent like that?
oh yeah. I'm like,
Doesn't that make it so much
Was
better?
this at Mastro's?
no, this is back in DC.
No shit, wow.
And she's just like, I'm like, yeah, like all the time, man.
It was actually Ted Cruz.
Yeah. I'm like all the time, dude. He's like, oh, you're like, okay. It's like, pour champagne on that pussy. Send her to the fucking moon.
He said
Yeah.
That's
And
some
he-
Frank Sinatra shit.
And he had a wad of 20s, and he's putting it between his legs, trying to get me to let him suck my dick, and he would pay me.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and I'm
wow.
like, yeah, I'm good, dude. But it got so weird. But that quote, I'll never forget that quote for the rest of my life.
Neither will I. No, that is just great. It's almost like I was there.
You got to put that in the next Yeti Tactics song in the
You
intro.
gotta
Doesn't
pour
he
champagne on that pussy, man. What?
Doesn't this
Send her
guy
to the fucking moon.
like follow you on social media though? So hasn't he heard that? Because if he likes you that much, he definitely listens to the podcast.
He definitely doesn't know even who I am. It was like he was at the venue.
Yeah.
And then I happened to run into him one other time, and I got escorted through the kitchen with the help of a bouncer to get out of the gig because I didn't even want to.
You didn't want to deal with
this guy.
Yeah. Right. Scary.
And then I never saw him again, so that was good.
Cool.
But, yeah.
Cool.
Anyhow, well, this has been a pleasure. I think
Yeah.
it's about time to.
Anything you want to leave our audience with, Maxie?
If y'all like contemporary R&B, please go to Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming services. Maxi, Break You Off, MAXI, all caps. Please
Yep.
take a listen. Much appreciated.
Very good. Thanks for coming on the show,
Dude,
man.
thank you for having me.
It was
Pleasure
a
meeting
pleasure.
you.
Yeah, definitely
Thank you,
check out
boys.
his music. Guy's got a phenomenal voice.
Thank you,
That's 90% you, 10% you.
Yep.
So give you both credit where it's due.
Swapped.
I'm on the
Yeah.
track a little bit,
No
too.
more.
Yeah, he
Are
is.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. He always worms his way onto the track.
P. Diddy.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yep.
I like this. Yeah. Anyway, so thanks again to the audience for watching, listening, subscribing, and all that. Make sure you share the podcast with the people you love and the people you hate. And we'll be back next week with another episode of the West Coast Wise Guys. I'm your co-host, Stefan Tommy Fugazi, the golf course hustler and pimp from Beverly Hills.
Jordan Sherman over here.